Let's start out with the Kerby Joseph contract details before we get into the draft stuff right here, because the Lions just did something similar that the Philadelphia Eagles do to their extended contracts. I gotta find them on here. Where are you at, Kirby? There we go. And here it is right here, because when you look at these cap numbers, you're like, how the hell can you get away with paying somebody $25 million a year, or $21 million a year, and have these low cap numbers? Now, I know that they structure bonuses. You got close to $4 million for the first year, $5 million for the next year, $9 million for the year after that, and then 13 for 28, and then 2029 is $17 million, and then you have a $39 million cap hit on the void year. And do you know what this means? Because I have an idea.
I'm not a contract expert, but from what I've read into, it's basically they're taking as much money as they can as what they call an option bonus. So it's like a signing bonus, and it allows them to give that player money up front. It lowers their cap number, but then it will cost them big time at the end of the contract. So it's kind of twofold, because you're able to make all the moves you want to make now because it lowers your cap number, but it's basically dead cap, which then hits towards the end of this contract period. The question will be, how do the Lions deal with this at the end of this contract? And so that's where I'm a little bit hazy on how this really shakes out. But ultimately, it seems like it's a way to save them up front to allow them to make the moves. I'm assuming it's a win now move, right? You want to try and get more players in that help you.
That's exactly what it is. And it's funny, I got I got pancaked out here a couple weeks ago when I brought this up for the Philadelphia Eagles. How dare you criticize the Philadelphia Eagles? Well, they did this with Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown. They didn't just do this with one guy. They did this with like 6-7 guys. But there was something that happened with the Zadarius Smith contract that was like, how the hell can the Browns get out of that, right? Because he was traded here. Now, we were able to release him and not accrue any of that dead cap at the end of that contract. So, and this is just a theory. I'm not 100% sure, because these contracts are very, very complicated when it comes down to it. There's a lot of moving parts and all these different things. But when you get to the end of this contract, wouldn't, in theory, if you could move him on the 2029 year, or the right before the 2029 year, you can move that contract to somebody else to have to deal with that. And that's what happened with Zadarius, especially if Zadarius ends up coming back, because we don't have to hit that $6 million that is in the, now that's a very lower number than what Kirby's dealing with, but it's the same principle, right? Are you following me?
I do. How about this? Well, I'll keep it simple for everybody. This is from Pride of Detroit, okay? In short, the Lions have managed to keep Joseph's cap hit down incredibly low for the next 4 seasons. They then go on to say what is cap hit, and you just showed us that on the screen here. But what they go on to say is the downside to structuring a deal like this is that at some point you're going to have to pay a pretty massive dead cap hit. However, with so many Lions extensions on the horizons, the Lions are more than happy to kick that can down the road. So I think what that means is they're wanting to extend their internal guys anyway. So the thought is, if Joseph plays at a high level throughout this contract, they're going to re-sign him again anyways, which kicks that money down the road again. So it's like the more they're just buying themselves time, and they feel like they're going to keep their players anyway, so It's not going to hit them.
So that's the other thing that you can do here with this contract is at the very, very end of it here, it's not just one void year. This is, you got that $39 million. Now, you should be able to spread that. That's why you got the extra void years through those 0 years. So you're not going to, so don't let this fool you here. The Lions will not, I'm going to preface this, they will not spend $39 million on a Kerby Joseph-less team. No. They will do something within that. And like you said, I think it's a better chance that they extend it and move it into those void years, put some of those bonuses in there and just keep them here longer. And you could pretty much do the exact same thing again.
Here's what I can do for us, Bud. And again, because I'm not going to pretend to sit here and tell you I'm a contract expert, but this is from the same article, okay? It says, let's say the Lions decide to go in the other direction and cut him, all right, before this massive hit. his cap hit in 2029 would go from 17.9 to over 31 million, just like you said. But he'll be completely off the books in 2030. So it's like they're almost willing to just take that hit for one season, and then it's all fallen off and they've reset. But let's hope they don't have to worry about cutting him. You know what I mean?
Right. And I don't think, I mean, this is like I said, it's very complicated to the simple part, but the bottom line is Kerby Joseph's contract isn't going to even affect this team all that much until 2029.
Right.
So, you know, you got the window. So this is a game, like, if you're worried about this is a game that teams that are winning the Super Bowl are playing. So this is not uncommon. That, I mean, like I said, the Philadelphia Eagles are making a living at this. And plus, but if you have Saquon Barkley and you have all these high-end guys, you want to keep your good players.
Can the Lions can't keep Brian Branch, Laporta, and
Yeah, they can. They can keep every single guy that they drafted, and they just proved it.
Yeah, there's definitely different ways to do this too. This is one way. I mean, you can, like I said, signing bonuses, upfront money. I mean, they know they got big contracts. Aiden Hutchinson's contract is going to be a mess as far as how they're going to figure that out. But you can see now the bits and pieces to all these things to where they can fit this all together. I agree with you. There's no reason to panic. There's no reason to. I've heard people say they don't need draft picks because if they keep drafting high-end players, they're never going to be able to pay them all. But they're happy to draft as many high-end players as they can get, believe me.